Hey, what's up everyone? Today we have just received a Helldivers 2 update, which includes a level cap increase. Not only that, but we're also going to take a look at some of the improvements that have been made in-game and some of the issues that have been resolved as well. And once we're done going over the patch notes, we're going to discuss a huge problem with Game Guard because some players who have disabilities are unable to play Helldivers 2 due to the anti-cheat. There is a lot more that we will be going over today, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. Alrighty, let's begin by taking a look at the top of the patch notes here, and this is what the developers had to say. Good day, Helldivers. Today we have a slightly bigger update for you all to assist in the liberation efforts of our galaxy, as well as some new environmental threats to watch out for. May liberty guide your path. And as you can tell right here for the overview, they talk about balance changes to mission stratagems, weapons, enemies, Helldivers. They talk about stability fixes and a level cap increase, which we'll get into. Then if we go towards gameplay, they talk about different type of planetary hazards. For example, blizzards, sandstorms is what they've listed. Then when it comes down to the level cap increase, you can see right here that they have mentioned this. Level cap has been increased from 50 to 150. This right here is big because we potentially might receive some more stratagems in the future, which I'm all for, and I'm sure a lot of you are too. Anyways, moving onwards here, we're going to check out balancing because for missions, this is what the developers had to say. Retrieve essential personnel. Moved the enemy spawn points further away from the objective to give players a fair chance of defending the location. There are fewer civilians required to complete the mission on higher difficulties. Okay, this right here will make things a bit easier when it comes down to completing this objective on a higher difficulty. As you all know, you need to escort 20 civilians to a different base, and with this you will not need to do that, at least on higher difficulties. Next up, we have destroyed command bunkers, and this is what the developers had to say about that. Now has more objective locations. The mission was too easy before compared to other missions. It can now appear in operations from difficulty 5, have the negative effect of operation modifiers that increase stratagem cooldowns or call-in times. This right here for destroyed command bunkers, I would like to know your opinions. Do you believe it was easier before, or did they make it difficult? Let me know down below. Moving along here, we have primary, secondary, and support weapons that they have made some adjustments to. What you can see right here at the top is the first adjustment made for Arc Thrower, and this is what the developers had to say. Arc Thrower fixed charging inconsistencies. It will now always take 1 second to charge a shot. Reduced distance from 50 meters to 35 meters. And last but not least, increased stagger force. So what you can tell right here is that they did kind of nerf the arc thrower in terms of the meter distance, yet they have also buffed the weapon by increasing the stagger chance and giving it 1 charge shot. Continuing on, this is what the developers had to say for the rest of the changes. Guard Dog now restores full ammo from supply boxes. Anti-material rifle, damage increased by 30%. Breaker Incendiary, damage per bullet increased from 15 per bullet to 20 per bullet. Fire damage per tick increased by 50% from all sources. Liberator Penetrator now has a full auto mode. Dominator increased damage from 200 to 300, increased stagger. Diligence Counter Sniper increased armor penetration from light to medium. And for Slugger, there is quite a few changes here. So for Slugger, they have reduced stagger, reduced damage from 280 to 250, reduced demolition forced, fixed armor penetration tag in the menu. Slugger, Liberator, Concussive, Senator, fixed incorrect armor penetration tag in the menu. Recoilless Rifle, increased the number of rockets you restore from supply boxes from 2 to 3. Spear, increased the number of missiles you restore from supply boxes from 1 to 2. And last but not least, Heavy Machine Gun, the highest fire rate mode reduced from 1200 RPM to a more moderate 950. And that's pretty much it when it comes down to the changes. I know some of you might be disappointed. You see some of this and you're thinking, oh no, nerfs. But honestly, it's not that bad. It's not terrible. For example, a few improvements you can see right here is that the Liberator Penetrator now has a full auto mode. The Dominator, for example, has an increased damage from 200 to now 300. There are some changes like that which are absolutely amazing. So do not look at these smaller nerfs as a terrible thing. Moving along here, we have stratagems. This is what the developers had to say. Patriot Exosuit. Rockets will now penetrate armor only on direct hit. And that's it. That's literally the only adjustment made towards stratagems. We're now going to continue on and talk about enemies. The developers have left this right here by saying balancing adjustments have been made too. Charger's normal melee attacks now does less damage against exosuits. Bile Spewer and Nursing Spewer do less damage with their puke. The Bile Titan can no longer be stunned. Shriekers no longer create bug breaches. Shriekers hitting you while they are dead now does significantly less damage. So as you can tell, there are some small changes made towards enemies, but if we move on towards Helldiver, this is what the developers had to say as well. Helldiver, balancing adjustments have been made too. Heavy and medium armor protects better, and you now take about 10% less damage than before while wearing heavy and about 5% less when wearing medium armor. Fortified commando and light armor is unchanged. Then if we move down towards fixes, they continue on by saying fixed issues where save settings for PS5 would be reset when the game is rebooted, causing things such as loadout and hint settings to reset. Enemies now properly target exosuits. Previously, many enemies effectively ignored exosuits if a Helldiver on foot was available for them to target. Fixed exosuits being able to fire their weapons while opening the minimap. The Helldiver and the exosuit both had a bug that made them sometimes take explosion damage multiple times, making things like automaton rockets be too deadly. This is now fixed. Automaton enemy constellations that prefer to spawn more of certain devastator types did not work and are now functioning as they should. This means that sometimes when playing against the automatons, you will face more devastators instead of other enemy types. The biggest one here that I would like to mention, for you it might be different, but I would say for PS5, the most annoying issue was the loadout reset. That is now resolved, and I cannot wait to hop back on and just set up everything as I did prior. Next up, the developers continue on by saying, we have improved the system that prevents hellpod steering close to large or important objects. We have solved issues where the effective area around the objects was a lot larger than intended. We have reduced the number of objects that prevent hellpod steering. Note, this system is intended to prevent soft locks where players can drop on important interaction points or drop into unintended places. We will continue to monitor the state of this system after the update to see if additional tweaks are necessary. Fixed cases where the ground under some assets could be bombed, causing them to float. This right here is another huge one because I have also seen a lot of my objectives in game soft lock due to this actual bug here where some players were just landing on specific things and causing the whole game to pretty much be screwed up, essentially, right? But anyways, let's move on towards ballistic shield charges. The developers continue on by saying collision mesh has been slightly increased in size for more forgiveness. Change shield poses so that less of the Helldiver is exposed. Addressed bug where part of the Helldiver would become vulnerable while using the shield in first person. Then if we move down towards known issues, they continue on by saying these are issues that were either introduced by this patch and are being worked on or from the previous version and have not yet been fixed. Game might crash when picking up a snowball or throwing back a grenade. Various issues involving friend invites and crossplay. Cross-platform friend invites might not show up in the friend request tab. Players cannot unfriend other friends befriended via friend code. Players cannot unblock players that were not their friends listed beforehand. Players cannot befriend players with Steam names shorter than 3 characters. Explosive weapon stats include only direct hit damage but not explosive damage. Explosions do not break your limbs except for when you fly into a rock. Planet liberation reaches 100% at the end of every defend mission. Drowning in deep water with fatality boosters equipped puts Helldivers in a broken state. Stratagem beams might attach itself to an enemy, but it will deploy to its original location. Some player customizations like title or body type may reset after restarting the game. And that's pretty much it when it comes down to the patch notes. There are some nerfs, not too terrible, nothing that would make you freak out. But there has been a lot of improvements as well in terms of missions, weapons, and all that good stuff. So yeah, my overall thoughts, I think it's a great patch and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. Yet before I do that, I want to go over this post right here because it does affect quite a few of you out here that do have disabilities. This player named Stefan Spawn had this to say: I am very disheartened by my experience with Helldivers 2. In order to play video games, I use an infrared hat to relay movements I make with my head into keyboard presses. Helldivers 2 blocks the program from input. I have not met a game yet that blocks my hat until now. But even worse, they also block Dragon Naturally Speaking, my dictation program that allows me to use my voice to speak into my computer. And Comfort, an on-screen keyboard, a virtual keyboard that allows the mouse to push keyboard keys. Effectively, an anti-cheat protocol is blocking assistive technology inputs from being read by the game. I don't have a solution for this. I hope to reach out to them and work with them on getting these things unblocked, because anyone who needs any of these kind of assistant technologies will not be able to liberate any democracy. This right here is a huge issue for you guys out there with disabilities and you're trying to play this game but you cannot because of whatever reason, right? Maybe you have a device that is blocked, or potentially there is a program that is not usable while you are using Helldivers, or while you're playing Helldivers, I should say. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below about this. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for checking out the channel, and I will see you all in the next video.